Probably he's in good condition. He'd walk out pretty much soon, and those are the words of the doctor who saw him first. Now, Ramesh looked to me. He was conscious. He was fine. He looked all right. He was talking. He was acknowledging. He was absolutely conscious when he was speaking to the others out there when I walked into the room. But absolutely a miraculous incident out there for Ramesh.
Yeah, you say miraculous, and that really is the word. I mean, we see there standing in front of a building, the front of which has been destroyed. We see the destroyed wing of the plane behind you. And earlier today,
García Hornos, director comercial de Banca d'Empreses de CaixaBank, sisplau. Bé, aquest guardó té com a objectiu reconèixer el mèrit de la superació personal i professional. El lliure conjuntament la Fundació PIMEC i també CaixaBank i vol destacar la força de les persones emprenedores per superar els obstacles i construir una segona oportunitat en l'àmbit de l'empresa. Senyor Ginesta, si és tan amable.
Doncs, en aquesta ocasió, el reconeixement CaixaBank Fundació PIMEC a la segona oportunitat empresarial és per Marigel, d'Horta Guinardó, Barcelona.
Recull el guardó Viviana Moré, empresària i propietària de la botiga Marigel.
Viviana Moré, reconeixement CaixaBank, Fundació PIMEC, a la segona oportunitat empresarial. L'empresària Viviana Moré gestiona des de fa gairebé un any la botiga de roba multimarca Marigel al barri d'Horta Guinardó de Barcelona. Amb el suport de la Fundació PIMEC va apostar per adquirir aquest negoci.
Of the season for Tom Mullins. That was when she was well held at Gorn. She's there. She's got a wide draw 17. Today going to be the same 17 if it was on good to firm ground. But there's Takos just being a little bit reluctant to load the top weight, and currently one of your favourites.
Okay, just to confirm, Rory Cleary's on number 11 in this Moonhall Church. I think there must have been some sort of an admin error regarding Moonhall Church, because she was trying to run off a rating of 79, but in fact she's going to be carrying 8 stone 7, so 8 pounds less, running effectively off 71 today, Moonhall Church. And obviously that makes sense. She was beaten off 72 on her final start last season. Another one who's got some form on testing ground.
Loading into stall 9 there in the Anne-Marie O'Brien colours, and late show betting, she is your favourite at 4-1. Number 12 Auburn Avenue, second favourite under Chris Hayes. Takos on the drift, Gary.
Yeah, the way Chris Hayes was talking earlier on, it sounded as though he was ruining the fact he wasn't on Takos again. Get the feeling he reckons she'd be well up to defying the penalty with a £7 claim on, but it's his mount, Auburn Avenue. The punter seemed to perhaps like almost most of all against her today.
Yeah, that's interesting. Obviously they feel that all conditions considered, that is the one they want to be with. One of the last load will be Moonhall Church. They're nearly all in. There's a couple out the back. I still think Dahlia Noir is going to be hard to beat for the in the centre of your shot there in stall 8 under Gavin Ryan. Let's see how it all unfolds.
Narlita and Summer Snow amongst the last to load. Another withdrawal. Top horse in the last, Tartaragan, is out now as well due to the ground.
بالمنشآت النووية لا يعني القضاء على إيران، وإنها يقوض قدراتها ويؤخر مشروعها، وقد يثير الشارع الإيراني إذا ارتفعت الأسعار ويكون هناك تحريك اجتماعي وسياسي داخلي مما يؤدي إلى سقوط النظام، وهذا هو الهدف المنشود. يعني
طيب.
التوجه الآن إلى هندسة واقع جديد في الشرق الأوسط، أن تكون إيران منعزلة، أن لا تكون هناك ولاية الفقيه، أن يكون نظام آخر الذي يتمشى وفق المصالح الأمريكية والإسرائيلية والعالمية.
طيب،
طبعا
ولكن دكتور منصور,
team that's been acknowledged to work with them. I think it is important for all friends and family to contact the Foreign Office so we can roll out as quickly as possible. But it is an ongoing investigation. It'll take some time. But, you know, our hearts and our thoughts are absolutely with the friends and families of all those affected who are going to be absolutely devastated by this awful news.
Well, let's cross now to Downing Street and speak to our political correspondent, Rob Powell. Rob, very serious words from the Prime Minister, and I guess the Foreign Office will be grappling on how best to support these families.
Yeah, and the Foreign Secretary a little earlier chaired a COBRA meeting, which is, of course, that high-level meeting where they bring together ministers and officials from various departments and agencies to update them on the latest in times of emergencies or huge disruptive events, but also to formulate a government-wide decision and path really for going forward. You would imagine you'd have agencies like maybe the Air Accident Investigation Branch attending, the Department for Transport would likely be there as well. We do know that 4 investigators from the AAIB, the Air Accident Investigation Branch, are heading to India this evening on a flight from Heathrow that's due to get in to India tomorrow. They had essentially asked their Indian counterparts if they needed assistance. They got the message back saying yes, so they are going there. They're getting expert status, as it's called in the technical term, because of the presence of British passengers on that flight. It basically means that those investigators get more access to the information being gathered by the Indian investigators there as well. We don't have any confirmation of further COBRA meetings that could go on, but of course they are convened in a fairly ad hoc way as the situation.
To survive the air crash. There are people who died within the undergraduate doctors' hostel as well. They were about to sit for their lunch when the tail end of the plane crashed through the wall. 4 people could have died there, even though officially the numbers will be released by morning. What the hospital authorities are telling us that at least 4 doctors could have lost their lives. There are about 50 injured, and I just want to step aside for a bit and want to show you this part of the debris. Where I'm standing live is the wing of the aircraft, the Dreamliner of Boeing, which is lying just outside the staff quarters of the doctors. The entire wingspan lying all the way till that end, and this just tells you, this is one evidence which shows you how this aircraft actually broke into 3 parts. This is part 1 outside the staff quarter, part 2 is the hostel mess, and part 3, I'm just going to turn around, there is heavy police presence, and those buildings there completely charred. That's the staff quarter. That is where the fire began. 1.25 lakh litre of aviation fuel completely burned down, killing.
We get into the business and market implications of any story like this, but at first and foremost, this is certainly a story of people and loss of lives, Tim.
Yeah, Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg said that he has spoken to the chairman of Air India. He says that the Boeing team stands ready to support the investigation.
Of the injured on the ground, what sort of numbers are we talking about there?
So, like we said, in terms of passengers who were on that aircraft or the crew members, only 1 survivor. But in terms of those who were in the staff quarters of the medical college or who were in the mess, 50 to 60 people are injured. At least 2 to 5 are in the intensive care unit and in the HDU, which is also the unit of the medical college where people who are critical are being attended to. So 2 to 5 critically injured, 50 to 60 injured is the rough number that we are being given. No official word has come out of the medical college as yet because, they're still attending to. Some people have gone missing. They can't be accounted for. And the reason for that, once again, as I turn towards the staff quarters, the reason for why some people have gone missing is because this building was charred beyond belief. Some people, some first responders who spoke to me, told me that they have saved people who were in flames and they saw these people, the doctors, come running out with their back inflamed or their limbs on fire, and they tried to take them. Some have been charred beyond recognition. And Home Minister Amit Shah, Home Minister of India, said that DNA samples are being asked of even family members who are based in London, and therefore an exact number will take time to come because some people are still missing because they can't be identified based on the charred remains.
Okay, Irinima, thank you so much for bringing us up.
What's the community rather saying to you? Because it seems that the protests have gotten smaller somehow.
Yeah, so this is the city of Downey. Remember, LA is a collection of cities that are all grouped together. Here we know of at least 12 arrests over the last 24 hours. People targeted in gyms, in car washes, on 2 occasions on church premises. This is one of the churches where a man was taken into custody yesterday. And I've got Al Lopez with me, who is one of the pastors here. Al, just briefly just run us through what exactly happened. This guy wasn't in the church, right?
No, he was in our parking lot. I was in my office. I saw a bunch of men swarming over somebody that was sitting down on the floor. And so I went out there to see what was going on. They were masked, they had weapons, and they also had the bulletproof vests.
What happens when these agents turn up? Because obviously there is the legal argument that you can't get involved because therefore you're committing an offence yourself if you impede their operations. How do people react in those situations?
Well, there's a lot of different reactions, but I think that when you see somebody being essentially abducted, your first instinct is to try and prevent that. But thankfully, we kept our heads at school as you can in that time. And I also tried to calm some of the other onlookers that were there.
Well, ICE agents eventually took him away, right?
Yeah, from whatever agency they were, yes, they did take him away. Yeah.
Thanks very much. I must also tell you what else is happening. There's a lot of moving parts in California right now. So obviously you think of Los Angeles, San Francisco. They take up a lot of the oxygen when you think of California. But remember,
que fem a través de la nostra fundació, a la qual, president González, vull manifestar un agraïment i un reconeixement molt especial per tota l'activitat social que es fa amb una visió de l'economia i de l'empresa. Gràcies per al treball que feu des de la Fundació Ajudar les comunitats a tractar el burnout, a fer d'alguna forma de l'edatisme que sigui i que deixi de ser un problema. Moltes gràcies. Gràcies. La veritat és que aquest any culmina el primer mandat que el govern que avui dia estem a PIMEC hem finalitzat. I quan acaba aquest primer mandat, fa una vista enrere i diu què és el que hem fet durant aquest mandat. Podríem dir que ha sigut un mandat